Now you want to take the next step and put your bots to work in another region of the world where you already have customers. Native language, of course. You might think, oh, that's easy. We'll translate the bot in a machine or Google Translate and have a native speaker look over it. Huh? Oh, I see my slide, I see myself. Okay, cool. That's soothing, because back channeling, powerful thing if you can't have it during these virtual conferences. So I'm really missing your nodding and your laughs, or your snoring if you fell asleep. So okay. So anyway, so you think you can just translate that, put it into Google Translate, my favorite, not my favorite, but depending on how far the target language is from your bot's original language, of course, it can be dangerous, but it can be also an opportunity, because many insights can be won from the foreign language conversation logs if you consider the diversity of concepts from the very beginning, and you design the conversation accordingly, rather than rely on a sentence-per-sentence translation. So transcreating a bot provides a new perspective on possibilities for pragmatic functions, such as context sensitivity in the bot, contextual framing and personality. And yeah, you don't want polite by accident and dudes people. You know, we dudes sometimes people in German. That's when you say the informal you. You don't want to do that when it's not appropriate. So yeah, I'm not sure if your translation software or what that is accounting for that, because it's of course fed with data, but you don't know how or who is supervising it. But let's go further down this rabbit hole, and allow me to demonstrate an example, a very small dialogue snippet. So imagine you are your bot is working on a web page with an online shop, and some customer wants to buy something and they have a problem like this, for example, into the chat and say, I want to make changes in my order, but I can't log in just below. And then the bot, of course, it doesn't respond to you with a chunk of text. It's not FAQ, this is interaction. The bot troubleshoots and asks you the first question, did you register? Yeah, for example. I just made that up now. But this is a very common use case. People often don't find a password, whatever request, or they don't know the procedure. Something went wrong when building the web page or the application. And it's for some reason not that straightforward. Well, people are capable of anything. So imagine now we want to translate that conversational, little snippet into a different language, starting from did you register? So there are decisions about the tone of voice that need to be considered. First and foremost, question about how you want to address your customers. Maybe you would sell more if you would actually address them and not using, for example, male forms in the target language when you talk to women, and vice versa, which is the case for pronouns, verbs, and adjectives in some languages. And I'm sure there are many among you that speak another language than English. And then you're maybe familiar of what I have mentioned, the formal and informal you in English, in German, sie, or in Romance languages like French, for example, you say je suis allé, but you write it differently. Tu es allé, because of the conjugate with être, it's being adapted to male or female. And adjective, let's pick cansado or cansada in Spanish, for example. Of course, in French also has this distinguish. In French, you also distinguish between adjectives, but sometimes it's not visible or not hearable. So this is why I took this one. So, and of course, you can find your word. You can find your word around the question: did you register? And try to avoid using the you in everything out there. And then I saw also sentences like this with the passive voice. You just write, the account must be registered prior to ordering, or users must have their account confirmed before ordering. Yeah, I mean, both options are very common. It's not incorrect, it's written there. It's very common in environments, but actually it should be a no-go for a dialogue in a bot where emotional engagement and dynamic is key to a good user experience. Every you is important. Hence, any piece of bot emission containing a you needs to be reconsidered in the bot's foreign language version. And some of the languages that I know, they are differentiating a lot in this pronoun. Yeah. Exactly. I forgot that slide. So the advantage using the passive is, of course, when you're avoiding an active subject, you don't have the trouble with verbs and adjectives, because they listen to the subject in the sentence, which is not the active subject. It's the account must be, or users must have. Yeah, it's not active. There's also no call to action, please do, or please register. So yeah, it was this one. And let's have a look at who actually can be. Languages, like, wow, a ton of personalities, actually, like very different people behind it. You see in German, you're familiar with that. I guess many of you are Germans or German-speaking people. French, you see also the differentiation in the cases. You know, Spanish. In Spanish, what I've missed is vos. Vos is like the Bolivian, I think. And in Polish, we have cases. And we will stick to Polish today. I warned you yesterday on LinkedIn. So where am I? Yeah, let's have a look at what it would look like. First, another step on German. Into German, I see you can mean ich sehe euch, that's at least two people. Dich, just one person. Sie, plural or singular. And in Polish, that's bad now. So for some reason, it's not being displayed in a nice way. So I see you can mean in English many, many people. I don't know. Is it that girl here who you don't see? I don't know what happens. The transmission, I had full house full of people and emojis. So anyways, or is it all of them? You can mean anything. Yeah, you know what I'm getting to. In Polish, however, let's wait for the next slide. It's coming. It's a bit delayed, but maybe it's the stream that's delayed. So I'll just read out Polish. Widzę pana, widzę panią, widzę państwo, widzę panie, widzę panów, widzę cię, widzę was. This, everything means, luckily I wrote. So widzę pana, there was a gentleman after it, because this is formal for masculine. Widzę panią, formal for female. Widzę państwo, this is plural, formal, and at least one here, as you can see. I hope you can see. I don't see it. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So for at least one male, widzę panie, it's when I see many women, or at least two women. Widzę panów. Internet is lagging. Okay. And widzę cię. So if you see a monster, the monster is getting displayed. That's good. If you see a monster, just say widzę cię, and then it will be scared and disappear. Maybe so. Widzę cię is when you say du to people, and from widzę was if you say du and it's plural. So many possibilities. So whereas language learners who come from a language with few or no grammatical cases, like English, they typically complain about the German and even more so Polish case systems. But designers and conversation designers should be pleased, because cases offer, as we can see, a lot of contextual information, such as gender, plural, which can be derived from the but, making dialogue in those places also more efficient, because you know whom you're addressing, or you're addressing the person you're talking to. Usually in an interaction, no, I know what you're thinking, but how would the bot know who he's talking to? I know. We don't know that yet, but yeah, first some questions need to be asked, and then we'll see if there's an answer. But yeah, so and now let's get back to the question whether you already registered. Yeah, and as I said, in Polish you have options to do that, and I am able to design it if I want. Now, I might imagine someone says in the full sentence, because I mean users type times, or someone could have put that as an intent. I have registered. This is how it looks like, and really, this must be something. Zarejestrowałam się. There was a lady that you would have been able to see. Zarejestrowałem się as a man. The second one is a female. Zarejestrowaliśmy się. This is we registered, like plural people, or maybe two males. And zarejestrowałyśmy się, this is just females, at least two female people. And maybe I think the Polish language would allow us completely makes perfect sense. Zarejestrowałaś się. The Polish people among you might laugh now. Of course, I invented this. You can see it by the little star. Linguists do that sometimes, that this form doesn't really exist. But even gender neutral could somehow maybe one day possible. And that's also how they would refer them to themselves. Yeah, so what I want to say with all of this is that grammar is, and the reason for it is that you can, one, address the ones you want to, and that's it's a bit delayed. Huh? You can, so first you can address the ones you want to, and then you learn tons from your linguistic data. Huh? And I know the eShop company may consider relevant to know which group has been having problem with their product, but a company might find it crucial because not only does such information show both male and female and other users, it shows also who uses which groups how and where which groups encounter which issues. And such information is precious when it comes to improve products and services at a certain level, and normally costs a lot of money to research. So it's all in the logs, you just need to read. And I say transcreation is the key. Yeah, but we're still very early, I think, in the development of multilingual. I don't know, the whole CMS is always a challenge. What I would like to give you on it is something that I have said as a joke about efficiency. Of course, I didn't do justice the English language because there is no such thing as objective language efficiency. That was just me joking around. So what I found is each language wires your brain differently and is a different representation of the world of their speakers. And this can mean a lot. And therefore, I consider grammar as the management of mental spaces, relationships between things, living beings, events, past, present, possibility, modality, and the future. Amen. Thanks, dziękuję, danke, merci, gracias. I don't hear you, I don't see you. I will just go on unless you answer questions, because I still have something for you.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much, Maggie. Thanks for that presentation. I think since you will not be able to be here in the roundtables, it's great that we have a little bit time for maybe some questions, some comments, maybe also from our linguistic side. I think there were some interesting things here. Anything you would like to remark, to ask?
Now is your time. Otherwise, you will hear something else now. Because Christoph, I don't know if Michael warned you, but I still have something in petto for you for the last 5 minutes. But I'm happy to answer questions first, so bring it up.
Yes, we have one question here.
Hi, so I tried to learn Polish in university and it failed miserably. What would be interesting to me is to learn how do you resolve things like, you know, grammatical gender and female, singular plural in voice assistant solutions in Polish.
So what I have experienced so far, unfortunately, very often in the development process, you don't even get that far. What I was talking about is really, really first world problems. Yeah, we need to get stuff out there first. And what I have experienced, not only for Polish, but also for Greek, Spanish, and so forth, where you have these female and male endings, that people actually are quite tolerant on just having one form. It started already with the navigation systems in our cars, when they were talking to people, especially when you use the past tense in Polish, French, or in Polish, French, for example, then the gender form shows, and it was always using the male form, imagine, yeah? So huge topic for inclusion and anti-discrimination. But I also see that, due to technical limitations, but also a high acceptance of voice interfaces in all kinds of situations out there in the different countries, there is a tolerance for that. But you know, nerds like me, they want to do more than that. Yeah. So this is what keeps me up at night, because you want to improve the world somehow, get the most out of grammar. Yeah. Thanks for the question.
Any other questions? If not, I will give you a little bit of time to think about. I would have one, Maggie. So I was wondering if you can go a little bit deeper into what you showed at the very beginning, why you think you have this this cross effect of languages. So when you have, I think you had it in the very beginning, like when you have English in the equation, it changes basically. And I was just wondering if you can go a little bit deeper into explaining why you think this is the case.
What exactly are you referring to?
I think it was in the very beginning. You had the slide with this this effect of when English is in there, or German or French is in there. That makes a huge difference in terms of the. I think it was it recognition or the. It was in the very beginning of your presentation, I think.
The very beginning. What I hear about efficiency.
Yeah.
Do you mean this?
It's just a joke?
That's just jokes.
Okay, I see.
It's completely a joke. Thanks. I know that in conferences like that, many numbers are being shown. I just wanted to mess with you, seriously.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, because I didn't.
Completely not true.
I was not focused on the joke part then, but because I thought that's quite interesting. I've never seen that before.
Not true. Don't believe in this. I believe that every language is efficient. And if someone says, "Oh, German is so inefficient," you put the verb at the end and you never know what comes. No? That's not true, because those brains are wired differently. And you will notice that you have to do a lot of effort, cognitive effort, when you try to learn the language, because you have to rely on your brain. Now, there is no such thing as more or less efficient. I find this very ethnocentristic. In anthropology, we also like to criticize, put a light on what's happening or what happened, the colonialism and stuff, that people used to conquer some countries and put culture on it. And I see sometimes, very subtle, it's happening sometimes with the English language, that other languages are being judged by the English. Hey, it's a completely different system. Yeah? And this, I cannot emphasize enough, yeah? when working with voice and chat. Very different. There was a thing that I just had recently with my colleague. We were talking about the translation of the sentence. Could you please specify? Sometimes people say they have a problem with something in the chat, and then you need to ask, please, and then you give them a few buttons to choose. And now translate that into French. You wouldn't say s'il vous plaît. You wouldn't say please specify. Or the other way around. Oh gosh, I don't remember. But you wouldn't translate the same. You would rather ask pourriez-vous spécifier s'il vous plaît. You would rather pourriez-vous the people. That was the thing. You wouldn't say please specify. There are different degrees of politeness. Yeah. Tone of voices. I think you should. Every team with conversational agents should hire extra multi-language experts, because there's so much that can be done wrong, and there's so much to gain if you do it right. And last questions, otherwise.
We have two more questions actually. So one.
Oh, two. Okay.
Front here, right?
Sure.
Actually, I have two, but so what? Yeah. So what are the application at Vodafone of these multilingual capabilities? And the second is, what do you see do you see a return on investment? I mean, I know that voice projects are not really are an investment by themselves, but what is the percentage by language that you see your users using? Mostly still English, or what? Thanks.
It totally depends. Vodafone is huge. Just go to your first question. We have a vast array of products and services that we offer in different countries. So it's very different. It's a huge palette, and I've been only 19 months at Vodafone, and of course I know everything from every country. So I can't even tell you in detail, because it's full of very different things that will spreng the Rahmen tonight. You know what I mean? And the other one, numbers. yeah, based on where we deploy the conversational interface, based on the country, you can't tell the numbers precisely, or because yeah, in the countries there is different accessibility, there are different channels, and there is different usage, or yeah, the conditions are very different from project to project. So it is possible to pick out two projects and compare, but it makes no sense to improve. So sorry to disappoint you, but your question was just too good.
We had one more question in the back.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Maggie.
I would love to be with you guys. Hi.
Hi, Maggie. It's Laura. So we are community members for Women in Voice, and obviously we're like dealing a lot with the inclusivity topic. And what I find really interesting, because we talked about charisma and assistant personas in the morning, is not only about addressing users, but one really interesting aspect about the languages that display gender in the adjectives or in the pronouns is also about the assistant persona itself. So if we take a decision for a gender for assistant personas, we need to be aware of the multilinguality and also see how it would refer to itself. So that's a really interesting thing I want to leave you with, I guess. So just a comment that will be a really interesting topic in the future, because even if we go for gender neutral assistant personas, how do they, from a linguistic perspective, refer to themselves and when? And thank you, Maggie, for the nice talk.
Very good. Thanks, Laura. Hey, let me comment back on this. I don't know whether you know, but Toby is the large chatbot, the huge conversational assistant in different countries where Vodafone exists. And the personality of Toby is not always male. There are countries in the world where Toby is considered as a female, and therefore refers to it also like to a woman, like even having Toby, the name Toby. Yeah? Which is weird, but yeah, just a fun fact. Okay, I'll stop to share now, and I think you'll see me now on full screen. Any more questions?
I think now we're looking forward to your surprise, because you said you have 5 minutes.
Surprise! Time for a surprise. Okay, so just a question up front. How many of you are fixing bugs in Alexa, like in the last few months? How many hands are being raised? A few?
None. Very, very few, very few.
Oh, you're people. Talking myself, do you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so, and I think this is a song also about the life of many people who are solving difficult issues in Alexa. And it's my song, but you will see, you will know the melody. So I'm sorry, but I know this is not an öffentliche meeting, so I'm not doing anything illegal. I know that's a fact. I fixed the bug, it was late at night. Alexa didn't understand, we got into a fight. I say, don't worry, it's me, Maggie. I went through the whole thing one by one. I'm telling you, these manual fixes ain't fun, but don't worry, it's me, Maggie. Welcome to Alexa. Please link your account. Why are even greeting me? It's a lie. Alexa, this is a lie. The next thing you tell me is goodbye. But I won't cry, no. Please link your account. I thought we were stuck on the English skills. Working with these tools is a dangerous provocation. Maggie. Maggie. Bienvenido a Alexa. Please link your account. Please link your account.
Thank you, Maggie. I think you heard the applause, right? I think it was quite quite decisive, loud applause. I think you heard it well through the microphone. So thank you very much for your presentation and for this musical contribution to the conference. And we would love to have you here and talk to you in person, but maybe in the future it's again going to work out. I'm sure it's going to work out. So I think from us, thank you very much for this presentation and have a great night.
Have a great night too. Ciao.
All right, then we're moving on.